like to take a few seconds to show you something you don't see very often. Mechanics working on a Honda.
Enter the Performance Zone with Splitfire Performance V spark plugs.
You get your passing gear, you're gone.
The difference in gas mileage has been fantastic.
Splitfire Performance V spark plugs mean better performance, more horsepower, and better mileage. So say the experts and the people who use them.
They're the best plugs I ever put in my car.
Enter the Performance Zone only with Splitfire Performance V's, guaranteed.
First, Goodyear revolutionized wet traction design with AquaTread. Now, Goodyear introduces the first tire with a lifetime tread life warranty. The new all-season InfiniTread. Its tread is guaranteed for as long as you own your car. Call 1-800-GOODYEAR.
Look, you're not going to believe this, but Goodyear retailers have lowered prices. An amazing 25% on some of Goodyear's most popular passenger, light truck, and performance tires. Other prices start at $19.99. Hurry, this sale ends soon.
From Texaco Clean System 3 gasolines to Haviland Formula 3 motor oil and Texaco Antifreeze coolant, there's no better place to take your car than to the Star.
Add more life to your car. Take it to the Star.
They move as one with elegance and emotion. They dance across the ice. Torvill and Dean compete in the NutraSweet World Challenge of Champions Saturday on Wide World.
The Australian Grand Prix, brought to you by Honda, who offers an impressive family of cars, sport utility vehicles, and minivans. John Deere, makers of quality lawn and grounds care equipment. Nothing runs like a Deere. Kawasaki Jet Ski Watercraft, own the water. And Valvoline, the #1 choice of America's top mechanics.
We're back at Surfers Paradise, Australia, and we're on a full course yellow because of Jeff Krosnoff, who jumped the curb and slid into the wall. Now, just a few moments ago, Jimmy Vasser came into the pits. It was unexpected because he didn't get a full tank of fuel on his last stop, and that gave the lead over to this man, Scott Pruitt. But with this full course caution, Scott Pruitt should be in excellent shape. By the way, the coverage here being brought to you by Channel 10 Australia as we ride the international feed, and they follow the leader of the race now, Scott Pruitt, driving for Pat Patrick, and there he goes. He decides to stay out under this full course.
Well, I think the reason he wanted to stay out is he wants to get up. He wants to get as much of that lead back, stay with that lead as much as he can, and come in when they kind of packed up the field so he loses as little ground as possible. He doesn't want to lose that lead in the pits to Jimmy Vasser.
Another name being added to the long list of cars out, Jackaroo.
Well, if you want to see a portrait of disappointment, just look at this man, Michael Andretti. This just has not been your year, Michael.
Yeah, I don't know. We can't do much right now, but keep plugging away.
Now, we interviewed Paul Tracy, and he had some not-so-complimentary things to say. Do you want to retort anything?
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for it because when I got in there, I wasn't even going to attempt to pass, but my front brakes locked, so then I had to go for it, and I was hoping he'd see me, and he didn't, and, you know, it was definitely not on purpose. I felt bad. So, sorry, Paul.
Paul? All right, now, during these stops, Danny, you were also watching down toward pit exit at the Chip Ganassi pits.
Yes, and Jimmy came back in. Now, I think this is probably a strategy. They probably just went ahead and topped up his tank, and they got a situation there in the pits, too, where, oh, Brian Hurd is out of the car.
Brian Hurd has got a fire. They pulled the whole fuel tank over on them.
Fuel tank over. They got him on the ground. They're watering him down. He's obviously got fuel all over him. That water will put everything out, but that is not a good feeling right now. And look, the whole tank's laid over in the pit lane.
And apparently it's still burning in that area. Remember, this is methanol alcohol. It burns with an invisible flame. They're keeping the pits open, though. There are a lot of people and quite a bit of water out in that one area.
you see something there, there's other crews down there helping out. I've had a pit fire like that at Portland last year. They come down there because they know how dangerous it is for everybody, and nobody can help you more than those other pit crews.
Well, but the scary situation is that the fuel tank, which had some fuel in it, you can see behind that palm tree, the stand for it, and it's over and on the ground.
That would probably mean that they went. That probably means that they went and plugged him in, and he started to go away, and they weren't plugged out, and it pulled the whole tank over with the hose still hooked into the car.
All right, well, they do have the medical people on the scene down there, and so we'll keep track of that. I don't want to get invasive with this, but there might be an indication that there is in fact an indication that there is someone injured, whether or not that's Brian Herta or one of the other crew members as well.
Now, Brian's up. He was walking around. He ran over to look who was hurt on the ground.
You can see Brian Herta back in the background. Apparently he's all right. Scott Pruitt, the leader of the race, is in, Jan.
The leader of the race, Scott Pruitt, brings it to a stop. And this is a very curious choice as far as when to come into the pits. Generally speaking, when you have a yellow flag, you want to come in on the very first lap. But at the last minute, they had a radio communication to him to tell him to stay out. Scott Pruitt underway, just over 16 seconds. Let's go to Jack Arute.
Well, you're looking at the aftermath of the Brian Herta incident. You're looking at Larry Ellard, who's being administered to by the IndyCar safety crew. But if we can show you right here, here is the fuel tank that literally rolled over pit wall. But I think the thing that should be remembered, folks, is take a look at the different color uniforms that are here. This is the part about racing that's so incredible. Everybody rushed to the assistance of this team. And the report preliminarily is no serious injuries. That's the preliminary report. We'll check with CART and give you more in a minute.
Well, that's great news there. And there's more than just the danger of the fuel right there. There's the danger of the fact you have those high-pressure tanks that are also over the wall as well. We'll be back with more from Surfer's Paradise.
Send your package in 2 days with FedEx, and people are impressed. Cost, about $12.
Send your package in 2 days with UPS, and people are impressed. Cost, about $6.
Send your package in 2 to 3 days with priority mail from the U.S. Postal Service, and people are impressed. Cost exactly $3.
So, 12, 6, 3, what's your priority? Priority mail from the U.S. Postal Service.
In the perfect world, your house is a home, and your garage is, well, a garage. Staffed with ASE certified mechanics capable of handling your brakes, shocks, and front-end work. All backed by a guarantee that lets you decide when the work is done. But of course, that's in the perfect world. In the real world, you might have to drive a few blocks. And right now, all brake service is on sale, only at Sears Auto Center. Our garage is your garage.
There's a fine line of motor oil separating your car's engine parts that's as little as 1/1000th of an inch. But friction and heat can make motor oil become volatile and vaporize, weakening its ability to protect expensive parts. Texaco Havoline Formula 3 is formulated to control volatility, fight vaporization, and provide complete engine protection, no matter what you drive.
Add more life to your car. Take it to the star.
Rough roads, sharp curves. To keep a firm grip on roads like this depends upon your shock absorbers. Look, with a worn-out shock absorber, the wheel leaves the road. But with a new Monroe Sensatrack shock absorber, your tire holds the road. With Monroe Sensatrack, even the most demanding road feels safer. Monroe Sensatrack, making the road a safer place. Now, get Monroe Sensatrack at an All-Pro or Bumper-to-Bumper Auto Parts store near you.
Coming up next on ABC Sports, it's the final round of the LPGA's first major of the year. Patty Sheehan and Brandy Burton are tied after the third round at the Nabisco Dinah Shore. The winner will be decided next, right here on ABC Sports. And we're coming back off of this full course caution that has been very eventful. And this is the situation at the end of the caution. Brian Herta, you see him about midway. You see a flash there as that car caught fire. And I guess Channel 10 doesn't intend to keep on with that. Jack Arute?
But we're looking at Bryan Herta. He is soaking wet, not from racing, but from having a fire put out. Take us through what happened, Brian.
Well, you know, we were just biding our time there in the shell of the Duracell Charger, and you know, we came in for a pit stop there, caught a lucky yellow, and you know, we got out a little bit ahead of the car there and pulled the fuel tank over the wall. You know, it's unfortunate, terrible shame. The most important thing is everybody's okay, and you know, I guess you just thank God for that now.
Well, we saw this in Indianapolis back in 1969. Remember a guy named Lloyd Ruby? Lost the Indy 500 by pulling out too soon. Jan Beekes?
One of the drivers that we saw getting in trouble out there was Jeff Krosnoff. He's made his way to pit lane. Jeff, what got you in trouble?
I was having some brake problems. The pedal was very soft and the braking was inconsistent, and I just got bit. I mean, sometimes it was there, sometimes it wasn't. I went into the corner a little easy, wasn't there, and it came on all of a sudden and just spun me around. So.
Okay, there's big action on the track. We got to get upstairs. Thanks, Jeff.
They came back to green flag. This man, Jimmy Vasser, jumped in the lead. Greg Moore came in right behind him, and then they all got tangled up in one of the corners, and it was costly for Moore.
Well, it looked like what happened is he was right there behind him. He went in. He must have had some kind of a gearbox problem because a lot of cars passed him. He looked like he was almost stalled in the middle of the track. Now he's underway again, but he's lost a lot of ground, a lot of positions.
And you can look back just occasionally. There's Scott Pruitt. There is Greg Moore. So just upstream. And Jimmy Vasser has some slower traffic that he has to deal with in the person of Andre Ribeiro. And they've gone back to a full course yellow. Al Unser Jr.
Oh,
in trouble.
And he was having such a great, but he was having such a great day.
Bill
Both of those guys were up in the 4th and 5th spot, and or 3rd and 4th spot, and they must have been going for a position. Both of them had a great run going, and Little Al, of course, it started at 16. All of that for naught.
So a race that was very quiet here at starting and almost processional has changed hands a couple of different ways and a couple of different times just in the last few laps. This is the replay of Al Unser Jr. and DeFerrin.
Whoa. Uh-huh. He tried to get in there, and DeFerrin just took the line that he was supposed to. He wasn't up alongside him. Both of them touched, obviously hit the wall, and there they are.
And both in precarious positions, so the IndyCar safety crew is there. The full course yellow is out once again, and Jimmy Vasser is leading Scott Pruitt. We'll be back.
This Ford Fact is brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealers. Have you driven a Ford lately?
For 1996, IndyCar has found both a traditional and a creative way to reduce downforce at the rear of an IndyCar. Now, traditionally, everyone knows that if you take air away from the underside of the car, that takes away a lot of downforce. So that's what they've done. This is the diffuser exit. 1995, it was 2 inches higher than it is in 1996, taking air away from the underside of the car, taking away downforce. If this is lower, it also means the side pod can be lower. So therefore, all these suspension links are now in the airstream. Look how they've lined them all up to take away aerodynamic drag. Now, the creative standpoint is they have increased the dimension from the tire to the bodywork to let the air escape from this area. It's now 4 inches. And leave it up to IndyCar teams to find a really trick way of checking that out. They roll this little wheel, make sure that nowhere is this bodywork within 4 inches of the tire. Now, this may seem like little insignificant changes, but in road course configuration, this system takes away a full 20% of the downforce.
Every few years, the world gathers to witness an unparalleled sports spectacle, the Truckathlon. And to compete, you have to have a Ford Ranger 4x4, because you'll need its switch-on four-wheel drive for truck long jump. It's four-wheel anti-lock brakes for truck discus. And it's whopping 4-liter V6 for truck hurdles. The Ford Ranger 4x4. You can't win without one.
Next event, truck pole vault.
Yes! First, Goodyear revolutionized wet traction design with AquaTread. Now, Goodyear introduces the first tire with a lifetime tread life warranty. The new all-season InfiniTread. Its tread is guaranteed for as long as you own your car. Call 1-800-GOODYEAR.
Look, you're not going to believe this, but Goodyear retailers have lowered prices. An amazing 25% on some